Hi, and good evening, everyone. My name is Albert, and this is Vlogs About Nothing for the second time. Hey, listen, I really appreciate you guys joining me, but that's not how we open up the show, so let's start over. Hi, and good evening, everyone. My name is Albert, and this is Vlogs About Nothing. Thank you very much for taking the time out of your very busy Friday night to join me once again. I really do appreciate it. Shout out to all my new subscribers and to the new viewers of the channel. You feel me? I think last week you all helped us crack 35,000 total views here on the channel, which again may not sound like a lot. There are content creators who get that amount of views in just like 5 seconds. You feel me? This ain't nothing, but like it is a start, and I feel like we're going somewhere, okay? So if you've been with me this long, there's really nothing for you to lose at this point, right? So just continue to watch, continue to trust in your boy here, and at some point delivery will come. It's just like the post office. I just don't know when it's gonna get to you. You feel me? Eventually it'll be there though, so don't worry. Anyways, if we could all be so lucky, right, to just think like that, just in character here, all while in the happiness and authenticity of improv. It really is important to care little about the things that matter the least and to care most about the things that matter the most. You'd think that that would just be a common sense kind of a thing, you feel me? But like the whole world says that character and society is judged at large by how we treat those that are the worst off. And so, yeah, wrap your head around that one. It makes you think, right? Like, can people be equal? Should there ever be any standard as to, like, I'm doing this way and you're poor? I mean, Jesus, right? Like, honestly, and that's what we're going to talk about, right? So the cringe jokes are going somewhere. Stay with me. But I just honestly feel like instead of taking out loans to pay for groceries, instead of people making a mockery out of things like the very services that are, in fact, without question, helping sustain American lives. You feel me? I mean, honestly, like, I don't know. It must be a very rich and privileged perspective to assume that people are going into debt happily and choosing to, I guess, just to gorge themselves, right? People are charging money on pay plans just so that they can order Popeyes, but it might sound funny on the surface. And to those of us, those people out there doing well and stuff, and it matters nothing, it might be kind of silly. You feel me? Like, just, because, like, I mean, it's often these very same people that also enjoy the very good benefits of low interest rates on credit cards and not being a victim of predatory lending in and of itself, right? And so I just feel like there's a lot of misdirection when it comes to how we talk about payment apps like Klarna doing things on the third-party delivery service apps that allow for people to get things on pay installments. You feel me? Now, link in the description below. Cool content creator, you feel me? Like, for what it is. I know other content creators could probably care less what I think about them, but I just throw it out there because, like, it ain't ever really no hate, you feel me? And I always try to share things that kind of inspire me to make my own opinion about things. And I just feel like it's a middle-aged olding millennial man's opinion is different from somebody that's 20 years younger than me. You feel me? Just by like sheer, age difference, it's just going to be like that. And that doesn't mean we can't agree on some things, on the good, important things, and move forward and sort of, my opinion is always open to being changed, right? The things that I think in life are not, in fact, concrete. My whole life is the epitome of nothing. This is how I live my daily life. I wake up knowing nothing. I go to bed knowing just a little bit more, but God, when I wake up again, I know absolutely nothing. This is how I treat every day of my life, right? And it really, I do, because I enjoy diversity, and if somebody, is able to convince me is something that the day before I just wasn't able to be convinced by, then hey, I'm just about as flip-floppy as, Barack Obama in 2008. You feel me? Like, I'll do whatever. Like, it's, I'm just saying. So, like, that being said, link in the description below. when young people sort of have an opinion about these types of things in life, I feel like maybe the experience isn't quite there yet in terms of just living age experience. Because you get to a point, right, where you're almost 40 years old, you're a complete loser. Your family has completely disowned you. Shout out to my family, by the way. I see you. Actually, I don't. I hope that you guys see me. Actually, I don't. It's kind of weird. Anyways, sidebar. Albert's got problems with his parents. Oh my god. Anyways, like, that isn't known. Did you not know that about me? Your boy here's got some parental issues. That have impact. I mean, oh god, Jesus. This isn't. Where's the reclining $5,000 chair that I'm paying some rando that went to some failing university $100 an hour so that she could pay for? Oh my god. Let's just continue to talk about how the link in the description below, like, people shouldn't hate on other people getting groceries, moreover, specifically groceries, on credit. Okay, listen, there's a lot of dumb people out there, okay? Point in fact, right? Throwing rocks in glass houses. I'm just saying, there's a lot of dumb people out there. And that being said, even the dumbest of all of us will not do things on credit that they do not need to do on credit. Like, you feel me, as it concerns food. Because it's hard to justify buying food with a credit card. It really is. Credit cards are not made to buy food. This is a fact. I get it. Credit cards are for emergencies. I mean, we live in a country that has a terrible healthcare system. I mean, the more leverage you have in life here, the better off you are, okay? And whether that's leverage to debt or not, or cash or whatever, right? You gotta have stuff to play the game. And so, that being said, people buying groceries on credit is indicative of a society that is bleeding at the core of its fabric, and I can't be any more clear than this, just because if rich people, right, because imagine this, only well-to-do people are able to access credit cards to begin with, right? So in and of itself, we're talking about an issue that just really impacts a portion of the population, seeing as though the rest of us, because we're all so poor, and poor, white, or black and brown, don't get extended the same kinds of monetary, endowments as other people and stuff. And I'm saying these things out loud because when well-to-do people, especially white people, oh my god, kill me. I'm just saying, right, when you see these people on TikTok that have jobs and cars and families and like entire, things that they're responsible for, and they're pulling out credit cards to buy groceries, that's bad for the rest of us, okay? It's good that they can do that. I mean, honestly, again, even though credit cards weren't made to, rack up $3,000 at your local Sam's Club, it can do that, and in times where, things are more expensive and credit is leveraged to more debt so that we can just continue to survive, you feel me? Then, like, again, more power to those people who can do these things. You should do them. If you're not doing them, you're dumber than I thought, because the rest of us only wish that we could get a credit card for $5,000, you feel me, and just put put groceries on that, again, because, well, the government doesn't give very much. What it does is very appreciated. And I've said this before. Without Uncle Sam, a good majority, more than half the country, would go to bed hungry every single night. I'm not opinionating any of these things. These are, in fact, facts. So, when I think about these things, I'm just sort of like, I can't imagine, it's been an issue here in my apartment. Me, as, somebody who's been unemployed, somebody who has had the benefit of being able to have help from some other person in my life, has noticed the impact of our refrigerator. Every month, it just sort of gets, a little bit smaller with a whole lot more space available. It's almost as if it's going through a slow deep clean, and it's a sad slow deep clean. It's a tragic slow deep clean at best. But I'm telling myself, like, if we're having trouble, I can't imagine, and so people buying groceries on credit cards and on payment installments, if you can do it, do it. Do not take my advice. I'm not a financial advisor. I'm just a stupid man who talks about nothing every single night of his life that has nothing to do with anything at all, and just says things that are entirely based on what comes out of his very interesting mind in character, so that this is a show and that was the disclaimer. Anyways, yeah, like, don't hate, you feel me? Again, be more concerned that people need. Just be more concerned that there was a group of rich white people out there that got together and were like, hey guys, I think that we can find some revenue and growth in the whole providing people with the opportunity to pay with their groceries in installments. These guys, again, that doesn't come from a good place, guys. That means that the economy is so bad that capitalists have found a way to fill in a void that doesn't need to be there. That void is entirely self-created. We are only hurting ourselves, and we will continue to do these things, I guess, until we talk about it more, or just really understand that the cost of groceries right now is out of control. Okay, and if middle class and upper class people are having these discussions, then imagine what working class and blue collar working poor people are going through, with families to feed that already aren't qualified to receive benefits because they make too much. But that is not the case, right? Because we know that just being a single person in this country is a very expensive thing, and so, yeah, like, even the air outside that you breathe, right? You expect it to be clean, but if you end up out there on the streets in a big city, what's the likelihood that you're going to develop over the long term, some type of ailment that you might not otherwise have had if you were not right under the umbrella of smog the entire adult life of your existence? You feel me? Again, so, like, I'm just saying that, like, groceries are expensive. That's what I'm saying, and I'm saying that it should be a concern for all of us. We really should all be very concerned, and not just for ourselves. Again, this isn't even about ourselves. If you can afford to buy groceries on credit or installment plans, again, you're not doing it because you want to do it. You're doing it because you got to do it, right? So, like, continue to do that, but also understand that the people who can't do these things are the people that are the most impacted. They're the most vulnerable. They're the most, like, it's messed up, yo. It's messed up, because not only should we not have to, have an entire industry predicated on the idea that we're all so poor that we need to buy groceries on installment plans, but we should all just be so equitable in that, at the very least, we are all fed. Okay, guys, that's all that I'm saying, right? And no, I don't want food banks, no, at all. Again, churches have been the default food bank now since the calendar started, and will forevermore be into the future, so far as anyone, with half a brain kind of understands. Yes, I mean that. We don't need food banks. We need people to not go to bed hungry. We need rich people that spend more of their money on stupid luxury and self-help kind of care things to just be a little bit more sharing in the kind of compassion that they have with their wallet book, and as their, eyes would perceive them, like, lead them to believe, right? Like, the world is hungry, and the world is suffering right now, and people, again, that have the opportunity to circumnavigate these kinds of circumstances, again, good for y'all. Debt's nothing. As long as you're fed, you feel me, you pay the money back, right? That's the whole idea. No one's a crook here. I never heard no American say that, right? I mean, exactly, like, you get credit 80% of the time. People are going to pay back in good faith, especially if they have the means to, right? Like, but it all involves just kind of these different variables, very nuanced kinds of things, but still, people should not be going to bed hungry. People should not have the need for food banks, and the government should be able to provide either enforcement from free, deviant, like, loose-ranged markets that drive inflation through the roof so that they can extrapolate more profits and so forth from all of us. So either the government needs to enforce and intervene against capitalists that seek to profit from the exploitation of our long-term health, whether that's a mental health, physical health, or a hybrid of the two, right? Because that's exactly what happens when the government clearly does nothing. Or you could just, extend social programs in a way that could provide every American with the amount of money they need so that they can feed themselves. That's always an idea too. And guess what? That would save a lot more money on all different types of things. It would save all of the costs that are involved with opening a food bank and operating some place that sends food from one state to another state, because if they do so, they get better tax breaks. And have you ever heard of a 501c3? They don't exist for the betterment of the community around them. They exist as a tax haven and as a tax shelter for those who wish to launder money so that they can do other things with it, like be a food bank and deliver food to other states, because if you do that, you are rewarded by the government in tax incentives. So again, something that is completely driven by a financial incentive to get more money from the government, okay, or the government just making sure that we're all fed. I'm going for the latter. Sounds like a whole lot less drama, sounds like a whole lot less lying, and the point of the matter is just that. The money comes from Uncle Sam, it goes to you, you go to the grocery store, you buy your food, and you go on with your day. If everyone had the opportunity to do that, then, the world wouldn't be going to bed hungry. You feel me? And I would dare say that hunger is half the battle. And if you just make sure people are fed, they are so less likely to be criminals, to be put in. Why? Well, because when you steal, you become a criminal. Even if that means being blasted on social media because you're homeless and somehow a spectacle to other people, and you get caught stealing loaves of bread from your local Albertsons. Like what? People are stealing food. The dude stealing the bread isn't doing it because he for shits and giggles, okay? I can assure you of this. Nobody would do that. You're absolutely right. Not that person, not you at home, not me here at my house. I mean, unless I was absolutely destitute, hungry, and lived in a world where everyone else was fed but me, then I might actually have to put my ethics aside and maybe help myself to a loaf of bread. Again, don't listen to what I'm saying. I'm a stupid middle-aged man with no credibility, nothing at all going for me. These are all just simply theoretical situations. So, that being said, try and make sure that the government knows, or that somebody knows, or that just more you as a young person are able to vote somebody into office in the future that actually cares about whether or not you go to bed hungry. That's it. You feel me? I almost feel as if there was a political candidate that ran on that platform and just simply was like, hey, yo, I can assure all of you that come hell or high water, everyone is going to be fed, that person would win. Man, woman, it, them, Geico, Gecko, Kanye West, it doesn't matter who it is, okay? Who's the other presidential candidate? Seymour Nuts or something, or the nuts one? You guys know what I'm talking about. Anyways, yeah, that's a thing. D's nuts, yeah. So anyways, last I heard, D's nuts was on the presidential ballot, so eat your heart out. Anyways, I'm not making these things up. I hope that you guys have a good night. I'm gonna get out of character. We gotta slow it down here. Okay. Hey guys, thanks for watching my show. Almost 19 minutes into this. I really appreciate it. Sometimes get a little bit worked up, you feel me? My roommate and I just had a little bit of food. Forgive me, I'm just a human being. Kind of cringe the other day. My uncle, right? And I'll be a little bit careful here because I love my uncle and everything, but it pissed me off because the other day my uncle, I asked him to borrow some money, just like I asked my brother, right? Again, what do you guys think's going on here? Everybody knows what I do every night. Anyways, my uncle was talking to him on the phone or whatever, and then at the end of the call, I hear him start talking smack. You feel me? Like I was. What did he say? I was. I don't know. I was drunk or something, right? That's what he had alluded to, or not drunk, right? I could have been high because my entire family knows that I'm a recovering addict. right? So isn't that some fuel to their fire? Oh boy, it is. Because now, every single time I talk to any one of them, right? Like they're like, mentioning some passive sidebar stuff on some past problems that I had. And it's sort of like, okay, what? I'm a human being. I'm sorry. Did it impact your life? Are you in debt because of it? Did I lose your car? Did I break your ankle? Exactly how on earth did my bad behavior impact you, family? That's all that I'm saying, right? Did at any point you guys give me money? Did at any point I steal from you guys? I mean, I'm just wondering why my family in particular is so goddamn judgmental on what happened to me recently, all while they having their own plethora of skeletons in their closet. You feel me? So like, yeah, the dude, I'm talking to him and he's like, he's messed up or something. I'm like, dude, like, really, my life, every single, like, really, like, because I have high energy, because I'm like a dude that eats some food, and I mean, doesn't that happen? Am I crazy? Like, do other people, do you guys have like energy? Is this something only akin to a drug addict or drunk? Like, I'm not sure. I mean, is the standard just like RBF all day and never having any fun and just being a placid robot that just is like grinding the gears of a society that doesn't care about me? I mean, is that the way I'm supposed to be? Like, again, because sorry, not sorry to my family or any of you other haters out there who continue to try and put and like project all y'all's drama on me, knowing damn well that not only have I been sober, but I have been an advocate of sobriety for going on 2 years now, and that I am just being honest in the way that my life has been. And sorry, not sorry, that's bothered you guys. Again, would you rather I lie and cheat and steal and pretend like everything's all good and pretend like I'm this person that I'm not, when in fact I make mistakes and people have judged me every second of my freaking life for making any mistake I've ever made? Like seriously? Like, this ain't no self-projection. I ain't no feeling no type of way. This is actual reality for the way that I live my life, which is why I don't talk to my family, which is why I want nothing to do with them, which is why when I call and ask for a little bit of help to point in fact make sure that there's food in my refrigerator, right? Like, again, sorry, not sorry. So, haters, I see you, and I don't appreciate it. And your boy has never been more clear-headed in his freaking life. So, just know that. Just know that. You feel me? No empty threats, nothing at all like that. That ain't me. Instead, I'll just keep doing my thing. Instead, I will keep doing all of the stuff that I want to do in my life to make sure that all of the mistakes that I've ever made are addressed and they are discussed, and I am held accountable for my actions, because so far as I can tell, I'm the only man who's ever made it so that I'm like that. So what's up? Yeah, yes, that's me. I'm an open target. I'm shameless. I've been a terrible person before. I've made mistakes. I'm vulnerable. I've been an awful person, but also I think that I've tried to learn and I've tried to grow and I've done my best to acknowledge the mistakes and all the flaws that I've had in my life. And again, that doesn't make me no better than anybody. That doesn't make me any better than the person I would have been had I chose not to do those things. But I almost feel as if, again, when's the last time I ever met anybody in my family actually say that something was their fault, say sorry for it, and actually do something about it? Never. You feel me? So yeah, like, I might be on my own on this, but at least I'm doing it the right way. So, I'm gonna continue to do it. Whether or not I end up under a bridge and under a cardboard box, guess what? IDGAF. Like, at this point, it doesn't matter to me in my life. I am focused. I am driven. Nothing is going to come in my way between me and my dreams and me and making sure that all of what I need to address in my life is addressed. And unfortunately for me, all publicly, right? Because I decided to sell, part of my soul when I started this whole experiment last year. And that's really how I feel about it. So yeah, I had to get that out of the way. I hope you guys have a really good night. I was out of character, yes. I had to address that. It was really bothering me. I really needed some help this week, you feel me? And like, it wasn't there. And like I said, it's all good, but don't think for a second that, like, I don't know, and that I'm not this close to doing anything and everything I've ever wanted in my life. And, like, I'm gonna make it happen. You feel me? So I guess the more obstacles, the merrier. Whatever. I don't care. So I hope that you guys have a really good night. You feel me? I really do. Take care of yourself. Take care of your loved ones. Don't be a hater. Encourage and empower the people in your lives to be their best selves. Don't take things away from them. Have a good night. All right, guys. Bye.